Yo, good morning guys. I hope everything's going well in your world. This is gonna be the first video to this channel, and we're gonna start off by very clearly saying, if there is something that you are contemplating and something that you want to do right now and you do not have all the information and details and you are just so stuck in that middle place, you got to take that risk. I got to be very honest with you. I'm not gonna sit here and try to gas it up like a TikTok, like, oh, if you're watching this is a sign, I'm not doing all that. But I'm going to speak from personal experience, and I'm going to back it up with scripture, where people who have an overthinking problem or just really stuck in that middle place between point A and B of where they want to, from where they are and where they want to go, you just got to really take that risk. And here's the scripture we're going to use today. So excuse my language, I really do butcher this word a lot, but it's from the book of Ecclesiastes. Everyone knows this is big bro Solomon talking. Here's what it says, Ecclesiastes 11:4. But there are some things you cannot be sure of. You must take a chance. If you wait for perfect weather, you will never plant your seeds. If you are afraid that every cloud will bring rain, you will never harvest your crops. And I gotta be real with you guys. As blunt as that can be, it's very clear. The second sentence alone, you must take a chance. You gotta take that risk. And I say that because in my own life, and even posting this YouTube video, right? This is probably one of the first videos I'm gonna put on the channel. You just gotta do it, For those of you who don't know, I'm a marketer. I've helped people grow their Instagram accounts, YouTube channels. I've helped many businesses make a lot of money, substantial amount of money, right? That really does, drive from marketing efforts. And yet I have no content for myself. There's not a lot of YouTube videos, let alone a lot of TikToks and whatnot, but I just don't have it for myself. And it sounds really dumb because for how smart I am and for the things that I know how to do and how well spoken I am, it really doesn't translate that very well in my life. And I was sick of that. And I should have done this before. I should have started earlier, but now I'm starting now. And yet again, I found myself with my notebook and pen strategizing how I normally would do for any of my clients, any of the people I work for, any business that any job that I have. I'm writing, I'm going ahead, I'm getting into the nitty-gritty of it. And I almost didn't film this video. I have title, thumbnails, content, I have outlines, but I'm like, none of those videos will never get made because they're just words on a paper. Because I'm just not taking the action. I'm just, I'm so unsure of like the background, where I should film the video, how I'm gonna look. And I really woke up this morning and I swear on everything, I went on YouTube on my phone, I was like, oh, how to film yourself cinematically. But I just was like, what does it matter? Like, what does it matter? So I grabbed the camera and I'm sitting in front of you guys now, and this is how we're going to start the channel. This is how I'm going to start this video, because in no perfect weather, I don't know all the things I should say. I don't have all the the details of how to make a really great video, backgrounds and all that. But at the end of the day, this is what matters, right? Just starting and translating that into obviously more practical things, not starting a YouTube channel or doing anything in the marketing sense. Let's just talk about relationships. Even in my own personal life right now, I am at a crossroads with so many different people, and very close relationships and intimate relationships that I've had that have really helped me develop as a person. And yet I'm praying to God, I'm bargaining with God. I'm like, God, you sure this is the right decision, God? Like, I don't know what to do, God. God, help me, like what scriptures say. Like, oh God, I need to hear your voice, I need clarity. Like, help me listen better, give me ears to hear, eyes to see, and a mind to understand. Clean my heart, and bargaining with him constantly, asking for all these different things constantly, day in and day out throughout my prayer life. And yet I still don't have all the decisions. I still don't have all the information to really take the risk. And this is where we have to use our faith, and faith is such an active thing, where what it says in Ecclesiastes, but there are some things you cannot be sure of. You must take a chance. If you wait for perfect weather, you never plant your seeds. And quite frankly, quite literally, in some decisions I'm making right now, as this video is going to be posted, and some of the things I'm going through right now, I'm taking that risk. There are some things that God has called me out of. There are some relationships that are not bearing fruit, habits, decisions, people that I'm just moving from. Like, that part of my life and those things, unfortunately, God had his hand over. God is not there. We need to get to the next part. And that's something I have to, deal with. I gotta, grieve it. I gotta, go through that, consolidate, that my emotions with that, and really just go forward and move by faith. And I say that because, you know, like I said in the beginning of the video, like, this isn't gonna be one of those videos like, oh, yo, if you see this, this is a sign, this is that. No, but if you do see this video, what this is just gonna confirm that, unfortunately, you just gotta take that risk. Unfortunately, you're not gonna be sure of everything. You know, you're not gonna be sure of everything. There's not gonna be perfect weather. You know, I you know, just filming this video, like, I don't know how it's gonna look. I know I have a really nice mic. Everything's gonna sound decently, right? But everything's not gonna be, you know, grade A, you know, 5-star restaurant, Michelin star. You know, it's not gonna be like that. So unfortunately, you have to move by faith, not by sight, right? That being said, translating it into a more practical and business sense, let's say you're struggling with money, and, you know, we all have financial, whether, you know, financial goals, financial struggles, right? Name it how you want to call it. But especially when it comes to making business decisions or just having a job, like, there are some things you literally have to take a risk, because when you do, let's say, market analysis, let's just say, you know, you're scoping out, you know, the idea for, you know, your ICPs, like, oh, like, who's gonna buy the product, what's gonna happen if I start an e-com brand, like, what ads am I gonna run? You literally are, you're literally never gonna know everything from point A to point Z within a strategy, and you just gotta fail forward. And again, backing it up with scripture very clearly, if you wait for perfect weather, you will never plant your seeds, and if you are afraid that every cloud will bring rain, you'll never harvest your crops. And in a very serious financial sense, right? When we invest in, you know, the stock market, we're planting a seed, and therefore the crop will, you know, have a wonderful harvest. Obviously, everything going good within the economy, but in the sense of, you know, business and making money and doing all this, you just got to take the risk, you know? Even if you fall flat on your face, you know, God doesn't let anything go to waste. So even if you fall flat, even if you mess up very badly, and obviously don't put yourself in like hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, don't do that. That's a very bad decision, right? Be very, very mindful about that. But even if you fall flat on your face, God's still not gonna let you go to ruin and let it go to waste. He's gonna use that experience, you know, for the good of you, you know, really to propel you forward into your purpose and, you know, whatever He does have for your life. And but all, you know, coming back to a very practical sense, where we kind of sit in this overthinkingness, and we sit in this, you know, analysis paralysis type of mode, where we're constantly mulling over the facts, we're mulling over the details, we're mulling over the pros and cons, we're mulling over fake situations, things that have never happened before, and we're still there thinking like, damn, God, like, yo, like, gang, like, what should I do? Like, yo, remember we had this plan for the future? Like, yo, God, like, I made these promises, like, you know, we was gonna be together forever, like, yo, God, like, you know, we was homies, like, you know, we really got it off the mud type. And yet you're bargaining with God, and yet, you know, you're really sitting in the deposition of in the gray area of your relationships and, you know, the business decisions, and you just don't know everything. And there are certain things that, and I'll tell you from experience, there are certain things that God will not reveal to you until it's time that, you know, you could handle that certain piece of information, you know. And I'll tell you that from experience. Certain relationships, certain business things, that there are certain things that God's gonna keep hidden from you, just because he needs to get you through a certain part of the journey, and then he'll fill in the details later. He'll be like, oh, you know, remember that? Yeah, this is what actually happened. This is why actually that didn't work out, you know. But you couldn't see it at the time because I just didn't want to show you that, and that's a whole nother video in itself. But all that being said, guys, I really want you to know that you guys have to take that risk today. If you guys are watching this video, like, just know that this isn't a crazy, like, oh, make that decision today, you know, God's speaking to you. Like, no, just really understand that, you know, backing it up with scripture, you know, Ecclesiastes 11:4, you know, there's some things that you cannot be sure of, you know, you must take a chance. If you wait for perfect weather, you've never planted your seeds. And I'm paraphrasing at this point, but that's an essence of what I want to get across. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Always remember, stay true, stay human, stay blessed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.